Here, David's going to the mothership. We've got him wearing 18-karat yellow gold Rolex Yacht-master II. This is a fairly unusual watch, and while it may look just like any other yellow gold Rolex sports model, it actually has an unusual complication that can be used for timing sailboat races, which are known as regattas. Hey guys, it's James Lamdin from Analog Shift. Athletes have always been larger than life, and watches are very much a reflection of their personal tastes and styles. A lot of bling, a lot of oversized watches, and a lot of very avant-garde designs. James Harden. James is wearing a Richard Mille RM11 for Lotus Racing. It's an edition that pays homage to racing car driver Romain Grosjean, and it is a great look of that classic red, gold, and black Lotus Racing livery. One of the best looking racing-inspired Richard Mille watches. Here James is wearing a Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. This one has been iced out. It looks relatively conservative compared to some of the other iced out watches that we're going to see, but it's a classic look and it's a little bit of extra bling bling if you like that style. Clearly James Harden is a fan of Richard Mille. Here he's wearing an RM11 Roberto Mancini edition, which pays tribute to the former footballer and manager of Manchester City. This variant is interesting because it has a use in timing the two halves of a soccer game. This is every footballer's dream watch. And stepping away from the Richard Mille for one watch, we see James wearing the AP Audemars Piguet Concept Tourbillon GMT. Audemars Piguet is probably best known for its Royal Oak, but they also have this sort of experimental division where they put into practice and use advanced materials and case design, much like Richard Mille, to experiment in the new technologies that will see their way into mainstream production in the coming years. Cam Newton. We've got Cam rocking an absolutely classic Rolex Day Date. This one looks to be the 40mm size, and this is the watch that is worn by everybody who is celebrating some level of success. World leaders, presidents, actors, athletes. So the Rolex President gets its name for being a gift to US presidents since every sitting president since Eisenhower. It also refers to the style of bracelet. This style is the President style, and it differs from the Rolex Oyster style or from the Jubilee. These are three bracelet styles that have been in continual production for decades and decades and will probably never leave us, despite the fact that they have evolved. And here, Cam is wearing a Patek 5205R, which is an annual calendar with a moon phase. An annual calendar is an interesting watch. It's a complete calendar which will tell you the day, the date, and the month. It only needs to be set once a year, and that's on February 28th. It cannot account for a leap year. So once a year, you set this watch, you keep it wound, and it will always know when it is, as long as you don't change time zones, that is. Tom Brady, star quarterback of the New England Patriots, is seen here wearing an IWC Portuguese Perpetual. This is the Perpetual calendar. It is a classical watch that he's wearing in a black tie scenario. Beautiful watch. This is a good choice. Tom Brady also has a long backstory with Tag Heuer. Here he's wearing the Tag Heuer Carrera. The Carrera was really the first watch that Heuer, before Tag acquired it, ever made with a name on it. Before that, it was really just a numbered system. But in 1963, Jack Heuer introduced a watch that looked an awful lot like this, and this evolved into what Tom is wearing here. The Carrera is the core line in Tag Heuer's collection. This is the watch that everybody wants to have if you're a fan of motorsport. The Carrera is the one. This particular one is a fairly classic design. It's got the traditional lugs, just like the vintage one I'm holding in my hand, brown strap. This is a very versatile, casual chronograph watch. Usain Bolt. Mr. Bolt is seen here wearing one of the Hublot Big Bang chronographs. Hublot, which is French for porthole, is a relatively new brand on the scene. It was founded in 1980, paying homage to the legendary designs of Patek Philippe and Audemars Piguet. evoking a sporting but luxurious vibe and a sort of integrated style that you've seen on both the AP and the Patek. The Hublot Big Bang chronograph, Classic Fusion, and a few other models have become wildly popular in the athletic sporting community, and it's pretty easy to see why. They make a variety of limited editions and limited production, which allows you to really pick something that's personal to you. And Mr. Bolt clearly has a couple different examples here that allow him to pair them up with different styles and different outfits. Here we see Usain Bolt wearing a watch that he had a hand in designing. This is the Big Bang Unico for Usain Bolt. There are two materials available. 250 pieces were made in a ceramic, which is a lightweight, incredibly strong and durable material, and 100 more were made in yellow gold. These are a perfect example of the types of small run production that Hublot is capable of doing. Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is seen here wearing an RM11 FM for Felipe Massa. Many of the drivers that Richard Mille associates with have affection for his watches, and Felipe Massa got his own limited edition out of it. The FM is seen here courtside by the looks of it, and it is just one of the best looking flyback chronographs that Richard Mille makes. Flyback chronograph allows you to kick back to the beginning with a single button push, allowing you to time the interval of consecutive running events. Here, Anthony Davis is wearing a Rolex Daytona, which is the chronograph of chronographs and is essentially the watch at the top of everybody's list. But Anthony's fitted his with a custom gem set bezel to evoke the Rainbow Daytona, which is a factory option with a full spectrum of precious stones all around the outer bezel. They're very hard to get, and a lot of people have paid homage to them by having their jewelers manufacture a custom piece. The cost is less, the look is very similar, can't blame him. Once again, Anthony Davis is seen wearing a Rolex Day-Date President with a custom gem set bezel. Classic. How many times am I going to say this? This is a great watch. Andre Iguodala. Here we see Andre wearing an AP Royal Oak chronograph. This is classic. We've seen it before, we'll see it again. This particular one has a blue and white tapisserie dial, a tapestry dial, with oversized Arabic numerals placed right there on the dial. Here, Andre is wearing an Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Jumbo. This is your classic steel expression. This is the one that everybody wants. Blue dial or a black dial, white dial. These are the classic steel luxury sports watches that have defined the category since 1972. Andre is wearing the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Diver here. The Diver is something that is a little bit sportier, it's a little bit more robust, it has more gaskets and a helium escape valve, which is designed to vent helium buildup if you're doing saturation diving, which probably none of us ever will, but it's nice to know that your watch can survive at depth for many days. This watch also comes on a rubber strap, and although being a fairly substantially sized watch, is actually incredibly comfortable to wear. And what would any collection be without a nice gold Rolex? Here Andre is wearing the Rolex Submariner in the classic blue dial, blue bezel configuration, 18 karat yellow gold. This is the one. David Beckham has a close relationship with Tudor, the sort of subsidiary brand of Rolex. Tudor goes back to the 1930s and was introduced by its founder, Hans Wilsdorf, to be the sort of approachable budget brand for the big crown. The Tudor brand has really seen a revival in recent years, particularly in the North American market, with ambassadors like David Beckham leading them forward. These watches offer a budget alternative to their Rolex counterparts, but are in no way, shape, or form lower quality. These watches are built like brick houses and are just awesome value for the money. Here he's wearing the Black Bay Heritage Chronograph S&G, the steel and gold. So essentially a two-tone look, which is beginning to come back. So a chronograph is essentially a wristwatch that is also a stopwatch. This particular watch can time events up to 45 minutes. You press a button to start it, you press the same button to stop it, you press the other button to reset it. Pretty straightforward. Most of the time you'll use this in real life scenarios like microwaving your popcorn or waiting in line at the bank. But it does have a sporting application, and you can use it for timing sporting events as well. Here David's wearing a Black Bay Dark, which is essentially a black version of their classic Black Bay. Black Bay is their version of the Rolex Submariner, which is arguably the single most iconic diving watch in history. Diving watch, of course, has important features like a locking crown to keep water from getting in, and a rotating timing bezel so that you can measure your elapsed time underwater. The Black Bay is a good value, with most models coming in well under $5,000, and is available in a variety of colorways, including this one, which has a DLC coating, which is what gives it that black look. Here, David's going to the mothership. We've got him wearing 18 karat yellow gold Rolex Yacht-master II. This is a fairly unusual watch, and while it may look just like any other yellow gold Rolex sports model, it actually has an unusual complication that can be used for timing sailboat races, which are known as regattas. It's an unusual mechanism for an even more obscure use, but they look awesome. Paul Pogba. Here Paul is wearing a Richard Mille RM30. This is a fairly standard RM model, but it is produced in a very limited quantity white rush colorway, which is frankly what I think of when I think of a Richard Mille. This is a very striking watch. It's probably the one I'd want. A-Rod. Here A-Rod is seen strolling with what is virtually the watch we have here, except his is in white gold and this is yellow. This is the Rolex Daytona. This is the king. This is the watch that everybody wants. It got its nickname for being the presentation piece at the 24 Hours of Daytona auto race. But because it's a Rolex and because they are made to the highest standards, these watches have found their way into all communities. This is the one that everybody wants to have. A-Rod's has the panda dial layout with the white back and the black subsidiary registers, earned the nickname Panda from the community, and is fitted on a leather strap, much like this one. The Rolex Daytona has recently become candy for every collector in the world. They've strangely become incredibly hard to get, particularly in stainless steel. But there's no real reason to deny it. The Rolex Daytona is a perfect watch. And here A-Rod is wearing a Rolex Day-Date. This one is not just your average Day-Date though. This is a 41mm limited edition done in platinum with this ice blue dial, which has applied Arabic numerals that, unlike Roman, is a very modern look for the Day-Date. Deontay Wilder, heavyweight champion, also has some heavyweight watch taste. Here we see him wearing the Rolex Day-Date. This is the watch that everybody on this list has worn so far. And if you're not getting this at home, it's because it's perfect. It is a perfect watch. He's wearing his with a diamond set bezel and a dark dial. It's a great looking watch. Always will be. Deontay is wearing another perennial favorite in this community, the Royal Oak. The Royal Oak here has got diamonds everywhere. Diamond bezel, diamond dial, diamond bracelet, may even have a diamond crown. If there's room for diamonds, he's found a spot to put them. And here Deontay is wearing a Royal Oak offshore chronograph that also has diamond setting. This is a big, bold, oversized chronograph with the contrasting dial, the panda dial, and a lot of energy here.